Hello everyone, welcome. So today we're going to do a bit of a talking head video. I want to talk about the incident that happened at Best Buy. Now, I saw this news on my Twitter and I saw the footage. There was a brawl, and essentially what happened was people were lining up for GPUs outside Best Buy. It looked like people were camping overnight or waiting for a long time at least. There were a lot of people with chairs waiting for GPUs. Obviously somebody tried to cut in line and they tried to pull the guy out, and then a brawl happened. So it looked like about 6 or 7 people, maybe even 10 people, got into a pretty wild fight, and punches were thrown. There was a guy who actually got king hit from the back as well. And so yeah, that's pretty cowardly. Like, if you ever get into a fight, don't do that, guys. Yeah, people have died from hitting their head on the ground, from getting king hit in the back. So yeah, pretty disturbing stuff, honestly. I'm not going to show the footage here because I think I want to just give a little bit of respectability to some of the people that were involved. I don't think they want this shown again and again online. So, I mean, if you want to go see it, it's probably out on Twitter still. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about some of the things that have happened over the last year or so, because this, I guess this thing with all of these limited GPUs, it's still a big problem and doesn't seem like anything has been done about it. So that's what I want to talk about today on this video. The first comment I want to make is that these cards really aren't worth getting into a fight for, and I don't even know if they're worth lining up for. I guess it depends on how much discount you're getting versus paying market price for them. I don't know how much Best Buy were actually selling these cards. If you're getting them for MSRP, then I guess that would make sense to line up for them, because then you'd probably get like $1,000 off on these cards. But if it's just a couple of $100s off, then I certainly, like, doesn't make sense to get into a fight for it. But more than that, more than the price of it, is like the performance of all of these cards this generation. I honestly think, like, if you're gaming at 4K, you could even make do with a 3070 or a 6700 XT. So don't just consider, like, yes, you absolutely must have to have a 3080 or 3090. I mean, they're great, but if you can't get one of those, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a 3070 now, play it for a year, and then swapping that out for like something else, like maybe a 4070 in a year's time, which will probably have more video RAM, the 8 gigabytes in the 3070. But you know, there's a lot of different ways to game, and all of these cards just do the same thing. Sometimes I think we talk about the differences between the AMD and Nvidia way too much. And at the end of the day, all we're doing is just playing games anyways. And whether you're gaming on a 3070 or a 3090, yes, there is a 30% difference in the performance of the card. But at 60 FPS, if you're playing a game on a 3070 at 60 FPS, it will be 15 FPS faster on the 3090. And is that really such a big deal? I don't think it is, to be honest. And I think we probably should just spend more time enjoying the games, talking about the games. And yeah, we focus a lot on like the differences between the two and which one you should really get versus the other one. I think, yeah, I don't think it's really worth it to fight over these cards. Okay, so the second comment I want to make is that this is a problem that has been ignored for far too long from all of the businesses involved, and nothing has been done from a consumer standpoint. I think consumers actually should complain about this, maybe complain to your local government or whatever it is, tell them to, like, you know, raise it to the next level. But places like Best Buy, Micro Center, Newegg, Amazon, all of these places, or wherever you get these cards, they haven't done anything to adequately resolve these problems of people getting a card. I think it's about time that people come together and sort out a problem. Now, some places have done things like I heard that Micro Center and Newegg, they do raffles for these type of things. So I think if you win one, then you probably don't get put in the draw for another one. So I think that's something good. Certainly, places like Best Buy and all these other department stores, and I'm not from the US, so I don't really know exactly where you get your graphics cards from. But places like a Best Buy, if you guys should be having a reservation system and having your customer representatives take details, perhaps having one item per ID so that people can't just keep buying them, at least until this stock issue resolves, because it's been going on for about a year. And, people already worked this out ages ago. I made a video about a year ago about the PS5 stock issues, and people were saying in the comments, just have it so it's one per ID. Like, it's not really that hard. But obviously, there are places like Best Buy where they just say, hey, no, I'm just a trading house, and I just want to get rid of all of these consoles or graphics cards, and I don't really care who gets them. Well, I think they should care, because this is what happens as a result of this, and I think they have a social responsibility to look after their customers, and so they're not standing out in line for 7 or 8 hours, because why exactly are people doing that? Like, why can't you just have a reservation system so people don't have to waste time to line up for something that is really trivial, where time is money, and you're asking people to waste their time standing outside your store, really for nothing. Like, it just makes no sense. It blows my mind. And sometimes I think they do it because they want hype around the product, so they're like, oh, come and check this out, get people excited for things because they see a line. Apple do that a lot as well. But I think it's probably time that we got rid of all of these lineups for products. Okay, the third thing I want to say is that I think Nvidia and AMD could do more as well. Now, I'm not saying that they caused the fight, or if they don't do anything, then there'll be more fights. And this same thing goes for Sony as well with their PlayStation 5s, because I could see, like, during the Christmas period, that there's just going to be all sorts of insanity with people trying to get PS5s, because I don't think people are going to be very happy if they have to wait 2 Christmases in a row. Like, I could see them complaining about one Christmas, but then I think they're going to start to get sick of it if they have to wait a second Christmas without a PS5. So I think there's going to be some insanity once we get closer to Christmas and stocks are really starting to run out for PS5s. But I think Nvidia and AMD could do more with their graphics cards, because they really, in my opinion, they really didn't do enough. Like, Nvidia doesn't really allocate them properly. All they do is just sell them to distributors, or the manufacturers sell them to distributors. I think that they could do more in from that point of view. Perhaps make more Founders Edition cards, for example, and sell them through their own website. I know that they shouldn't be taking chips from their manufacturers, because then they're competing with them directly. Or if they don't want to do that, then they should just get the manufacturers to make sure that gamers can get cards, or allocate them cards fairly, because there's still a huge demand. And what they're really doing now is that they're playing the gamers off with the miners. So any excess cards, they're just selling them to the miners to keep the price high, and then they'll sell a few to the gamers. And I think, look, I don't have stats or anything to back that up, but I really feel like if they really were selling them all to gamers, then the price should be slowly decreasing. But there's just a lot of miners that are getting these cards, and I think I don't have a problem with miners paying the same price as gamers, but that you have to, I guess, allocate some to the gamers. And as I've said before, my initial thought was that I think Nvidia and AMD should just allocate gamers cards first, because they will probably want just the one card, whereas miners just continue to want multiple cards and let your miners buy them later on. I think they're kind of doing that because Nvidia is making this cryptocurrency mining series of cards, the CMP cards, so that way they can allocate them cards. But it seems like miners are still going after these light hash rate cards anyways, because they're easier to get their hands on. The thing is, like, the allocation isn't working at the moment. Nvidia and AMD should do more to get gamers cards. Okay, finally, the last thing I want to say is that don't be dicks to each other, okay? Don't get into fights and that sort of thing. You're all gamers, and gamers, you should all, I always say love one another, but like, yeah, you shouldn't be fighting with your fellow gamers. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game, right? Like, and I think the only thing is that the only game, I should say, that really demands one of the latest graphics cards is Cyberpunk 2077, maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator. But I don't know if Microsoft Flight Simulator fans are going to fight each other over graphics cards. Maybe Cyberpunk fans will, but I think, or maybe like Star Citizen also requires a very demanding graphics card. But really, apart from a few games, you really could do with just about any graphics card from last generation. If you can perhaps get one of those used, I know they're very expensive as well. But or if you're actually on last generation, maybe you don't even need to get the new Ampere card, because I don't think there have been that many games that have come out that really demand a top end 3080, 3090 graphics card. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. Let me know your thoughts on all of the limited hardware that's going around for the last year or so, and what these businesses and companies should be doing about this sort of thing. Let me know below your thoughts in the comments, and I'll get into the discussion as well. But as always, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.